hey, how y'all doing, folks? This is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the man cave. Well, yeah, another plane, believe it or not. Now this is the FMS BAE Hawk, as you can see. Yeah, it's not new. It's been out for quite a while, and they keep selling it. Now FMS themselves, I believe this may be discontinued. Don't quote me. I do not know. I only say that because I haven't seen it on the FMS website for quite a while, for probably at least 8 months. However, it is still at Hobby Zone, still at, I think Horizon Hobby may still show it. Still other retailers that still have it. So it has a reputation being one of the best 80 millimeters you can get, and I just never got around to getting it. I have the 70 free wing, but I wanted this one here before it may be discontinued. And yeah, I know, why would you review a plane that has been out for a long time? I just want to. I wanted this plane. I've been wanting it for a long time, and I finally said, you know what, get it before it's gone. And that's just my attitude about it, and I want to share it with you because you can still, like I say, you can still get it new, and definitely can find it at swap meets and stuff. So let's go ahead and quit yammering. Let's go ahead and get this thing out of the box and get her put together. But one of the main purposes of this video is not just going to be the unbox and build. I'm going to unbox and build, and that'll be by itself. But pay attention, I'm going to have a second video established for, I have my Spectrum IX14 SE is updated to the latest firmware, and I also have a 8-channel Spectrum receiver that's updated to the absolute latest software or firmware. And I'm going to do a new updated nose wheel gyro on how to do that step by step, and it is insanely easier now than it used to be. And I just want to take that with you. So that's going to be an entirely separate video, so watch for that after the unbox and build. I'll release both the videos fairly close together. All right, let's go ahead and get working on this boy, and let's get it out of the box. Obviously, it's the 80 millimeter BAE Hawk, and let's go ahead and slide it out. We'll do like I've been doing. We'll change our positions to give you a downward view, so you can see how it comes out of the box, because you may still be able to buy yours new, and well, it's upside down. The contents are upside down. But Hobby Zone, I got this from Hobby Zone. Now, they didn't send it to me. I bought it. Maybe they would have sent it to me if I asked, but instead, I bought it because I wanted it. And just to let you know, there'll be an affiliate link, because they still have these in stock, and you'll be able to take, I think, either 5 or 10% off your price if you buy it through my link and using my code, just so you're aware. Alrighty. Let's go ahead, change our camera positions. We'll look down, and you can see how everything unfolds out of the box. So hold on. All right, this is the entire box. First thing, let's go ahead and undo our supports here. I've actually already taken the wing out, and I wanted to check it. Let's go ahead and take the wing out. As you can see, everything looks really nice. This is before they started putting the black tape, but you can get some red electrical tape and cover that up. I'm not going to let that bother me. However, that does make it easy to access and work on your wires. So we'll have to hook up our control surfaces. These are pinch hinges. However, these are mechanical on the ailerons. So all hard plastic there. Very nice. Got the lights, wingtip lights. Okay, set that off to the side. All of our debris here. They definitely pack this with pride. Okay. All right. Have your horizontal stabilizer, otherwise known as tail feathers or elevator. And these actually are angled down. So very nice. Still got the ball links with mechanical hinges. Okay. Got your fuel tank, drop tank, which I will fly with. Now see what I'm talking about when I make a point about they have the stuff hidden in there, all white, camouflage in all white. And you definitely are going to need that because that's all your ball links connections. And it looks like one screw will be putting the whole plane together, and it's a 2mm hex drive. So all you're going to need is a 2mm, and you have 2 antennas to glue on. So very, very small pound. Oh, there's something else down there. What could that be? Oh, these are probably the rails. Well, I don't know. Oh, these are the fins, the dorsal fins. Okay. They go to the underneath the plane. Let me make sure nothing else in there. Keep up with your debris. That's a nice little sponge. We can use that for something else. These make great places if you're putting a plane on a table. These little pieces of hard, I guess it's like a soft EPP foam. You use that and they're great for bracing something and putting something down. Okay. Then of course we have the manual. And then the main event. The main event. In case y'all are wondering, watch my videos. Every time I say the main event, I go, the main event. The reason I do that is from History of the World, the Mel Brooks film. That's one of the guys start talking, they go, the main event. It's one of the funniest movies. It's just stupid humor. But I like that. Oh, Porn Stash Bob. Boy, he gets around. He really gets around. All right, everything labeled in there. Hey, looky there, looky there. What does that mean? What does that yellow pigtail tire wire mean? Right there, that white one, a yellow one. That means thrust reversing. All right. Hot dog, hot dog. All righty. Very nice, very, very nice. Nice cooling right there. Got a nice big, see your EDF up in there. Of course, you know what I'm going to be putting in there. You already know. KM model afterburner. Nice light there. All right. Even though I know the Bayhawk doesn't have an afterburner, mine do. All right, we're going to pause right there. All right, we got everything out of the box, as you can see. All right, you're going to be needing a 2mm hex drive tool to put this entire plane together. And the first thing we're going to start out with is putting the horizontal stabilizer, otherwise known as elevator. Now, I understand that the entire thing is the elevator and these are the stabilizer, or the whole thing's the stabilizer and these are the elevators. But anyways, all right. Now, if I say this many, many times, whenever you're hooking up control services, okay, you're hooking up a servo as a control service, you have to pay attention to polarity, all right? The rule to remember to keep it completely error-free is light to light, dark to dark, okay? So if I look in here and I see my 2 elevator connection points, I see the yellow on top, brown on the bottom, so it's light and dark. Doesn't matter which one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the plane over here, or the elevator over here, and I'm going to make sure I've got the light to light, dark to dark lined up with each other. Those are going to lock in. Have a nice, satisfying sound there. Or the way it feels, you can feel it pop in. Okay, pay attention to the other one. Look at your wires there. Make sure you're hooking up light to light, dark to dark. Otherwise, you're going to think, how come that's not working? Well, it's not working because you didn't hook it up right. And that is entirely your fault. Nobody's fault but your own. Okay. And one thing you could do is grab a hold of that. Should be able to grab a hold of that wire. Oh, nope, there's a junction box there, or something in there. So I'm going to push them back down in there. And that way they are out of the way. You don't want wires pinched. And maybe I can grab a hold of that. Nope, there's something blocking that I can't. Okay, there we go. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, I was able to pull them forward. They're just like some glue or something. So I can be able to pull them forward, grabbing the elevator wire from up here. Okay. Let that set down in there like that. See how that just kind of sandwiches in there? And then go and take, you have the kit, all these screws are the same size, so you don't have to worry about grabbing the wrong one. Okay. Okay, that's gonna drive me nuts. All right, we're gonna grab my power screwdriver. And we aren't gonna play around. We ain't playing around, man. We ain't playing around, except I grabbed the wrong bit. Grab the 2.5 bit. So that, there you go. All right. Something's not lined up there. Okay. There it goes. You gotta make sure this is flush here. If it ain't flush, it ain't gonna work. All right. And that's, I found this thing here. This is get it on Amazon, and it comes with these bits. Well, it comes with regular bits. You got to buy these extend bits. This thing's got enough torque that I don't need to go back. That I know is in there. Okay. Of course, this is all good. Real quick, I'm going to grab a servo tester, and I just want to make sure that when I pulled that wire through, there's a little Y that they're hooked into, that I didn't accidentally give way of that. That didn't let go. So it's simple enough to check. And well, they're not hooked up, but at least I'll be able to hear that both servos are working. And I could go ahead and center them while I'm here. But let me look and make sure both servos, that one's working and that one's working. Okay, so so the connection's still good. So I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so we can proceed. Just having a servo tester and have a little battery to run it is just a big time saver. Okay. All right. Now you got the tail, everything put on. Now we can put our wing on. Pretty simple build. Pretty simple build. All right, let me back you up just a little bit. Wrong way. All right. All right, you got this big bundle of wires here, okay? Now, what I suggest, seeing that zip tie there, let's clip that off of there. That way we got a little more room to work. Okay. Just be careful not to clip any wires. Okay. There you go. That opens up a lot more room for me to pull them wires on through. All right, now you've got everything's clearly labeled, okay? And that's going to sit down in the saddle here. And I wouldn't be too worried about this box. Just let it kind of sit in that pocket there, okay? And then when you turn everything over, just make sure these wires that are all clearly labeled go in this hole right here, okay? Because that is their new home. That is their new home. Oh. Forgot, the front of this is kind of a tongue and groove situation. Okay. Oh, you know what? I told you wrong. I'm thinking maybe we should better secure that. So let's just go ahead and do that real quick so that I don't have to worry about that box getting away from me. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. We ain't going to mess around with this now. We ain't messing around. We're going to take a little bit of medium CA, Plant that sucker right in there like that. Hit it with some kicker. All right, now I ain't got to worry about it. It's in the right spot. It isn't going to interfere. Okay. Now I can take my clump of wires, fish them all down in there like so, reach up in to kind of grab a hold of, make sure you got that cluster. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but you just reach up and grab that cluster. Tongue and groove your wing in, the front tab of that wing in. Okay. And then pick your model up. Make sure all that is pulled through there now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not wanting to sit down in there. Okay, here's what's going on. It's this wire bundle here. This little wire bundle here is wanting to be a nuisance for me. So you're going to make sure they stay out of the way. You don't want anything from interfering with your wing being seated in there. And it's still wanting to. Well, hold on, let me work on it, I'll tell you what I do. All right, something I discovered when I glued that little box in, don't glue it in the front, glue it in the rear towards the middle of the wing, and it fits. And look at it now, it just fits down in there pretty as you please. And it just sits right down in there. So now we can proceed. I fought with that and fought with that. I said, you know what? I bet you I put that box in the wrong spot. And that's exactly what I did. I put it in the wrong spot. Okay, that wing went right in there. No, when you start seeing denting around a plastic area like that, stop. Don't go any deeper. Yeah. I'm still going to check these wing bolts though. I know this thing's got a lot of torque, but I want to feel it with my hands. It's probably just fine though. This little screwdriver is awesome. Huge time saver. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it has very obvious. All right. Another thing you're looking for is a nice, there's no seam. It's just really nice and tight. All right. So while we're here, go ahead and do a few of our peripherals. Okay. Your ventral fins, these things here, the larger side goes towards the front of the plane. They kind of have a curve at the bottom, so how they fit. So you're not going to really mess. If it doesn't look right, try it the other way. Okay. And then you've got your tank. Now the tank, I believe, the tapered end goes towards the rear. All right, just like that. And then you've got a few peripherals, antennas. See if it shows me where those go. I don't see it. So I'll have to look at the picture. Okay, there's one on top of the nose and one underneath. So use the power of brilliant deduction here. And I'm going to say the larger one is going to go, nope, the one that's got a little bottom to it. It's got a little like bottom area there. See a little bottom base to it? A little base to it. That's the one that's going to go on the underside because there's a cutout for it. Makes it obvious. Let me do that. Of course, I don't have my glue over here with me. I keep moving my glue around, and then I set it down, and I was like, what'd I do with it? And yada, yada, yada. All right, so we're going to put that in there. Just a little bit of that in there. Kick it with the kicker. All right. Turn our model over. Okay. Turn this bad boy over. All right, and then you've got, well, there's an antenna there, already there. Ah, there's a hole right there that's just screaming for an antenna. That says, put me here, put me here. So put our little bit of, little dab will do ya. Okay. Little kicker to brighten its day. All right. And put all of our white, yep, that's KM model afterburner. When I did the brake to figure out what was going on with the wing, I went ahead and installed. I've got other videos on how to put that in. Just search on my channel, or I'll tell you what, I'll put a link in on how to install a afterburner. KM model afterburner. But there you go. I know the wings aren't down, or nothing's down when I have it hooked up. But I'm not going to hook up any of the control surfaces until I get the battery in there, or the radio in there, and get it all bound up. One interesting note, though, is all of your push rods, control rods, push rods, whatever you want to call them, doesn't matter which one you use, because they're all exactly the same length, okay? That makes, you know, having all the screws the same, universal, having all the push rods universal, that makes the world a whole lot nicer. And there's one last peripheral, and that is your screw-in pitot tube right here. And it just screws right on in. There it goes. Maybe. Yeah, there it goes. It just takes, you just got to work it. You got to work it. Yeah, that screws in there, okay? But, yeah, let me back you up. That is the 80mm FMS BAE Hawk, or Red Arrow. And it's got porn stash Bob on the helm. The only other thing I'm going to do to it, other than install the radio and everything, is going to give it a clear coat of my polyacrylic. And we'll be right back. We'll be doing the radio rates and setup video. Well, I'm going to install it, then I'm going to show it, set it all up, but then I'm going to show you, I'm going to save the nose wheel gyro. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to show you how to do that step by step, okay? But there's one thing you need to know. And you know, I say I'm going to do that. I got to make sure that I can separate that front nose steering, which I believe I can. Elevator, gear. Yeah, there is. There's a rudder lead off the front here, okay? In order to have a nose wheel gyro working, and have it really working, you must have an open channel on your receiver, and you must have a separate servo that takes care of your steering. You must have a steering servo up here, okay? If you don't have those two things, you can't have a nose wheel gyro, okay? But we'll be right back in just a little bit. That concludes the unbox and build of the not new, but new to me, 80mm FMS BAE Hawk. And thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Hobby Zone, thank you for taking, I think, $429 of my money. And there we go, folks. All right, stay tuned. We'll get that radio set up and nose wheel gyro tutorial right away. Bye-bye.